Hello, B-Ben. This is a scary prospect for Kentucky's rivals, but let me explain why. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the latest from the Cats. ESPN has named Shepard as the top favorite for the NBA Rookie of the Year award. And why is this frightening? Kentucky has been a powerhouse in unveiling top talents like Shepard, and Pope's recruiting is terrifying for all competitors. Could Jasper be the next to join the Wildcats? We hope so. The arrival of Malachi Moreno is proof of this, highlighting Shepard, his meteoric rise in the college basketball scene, and now, in the NBA environment, is not just a pleasant surprise for Kentucky Wildcats fans, but also a testament to the excellence that Mark Pope's basketball program continues to produce, as mentioned. When Shepard, a four-star point guard, chose Kentucky, few could have predicted the immediate impact he would have, both on the team and on the national stage. And boy, was he different. From the start of the last season, it was clear that Shepard was not just another talented player. His game-reading ability, combined with rare efficiency, quickly established him as one of the central pieces at Kentucky. And Pope is going to keep preparing guys this way. The consistency with which Shepard performed in his debut season did not go unnoticed. Averaging 12.5 points per game, shooting a remarkable 53.6% from the field and 52.1% from beyond the arc, he quickly became one of the most dangerous weapons in the SEC. These numbers, impressive in themselves, are even more notable considering the quality of competition in the conference. His inclusion in the SEC All-Freshman and All-SEC teams was a well-deserved recognition, but the real impact of Shepard was just beginning to be felt. His transition to the NBA, culminating in his selection as the third overall pick in the 2024 draft, confirmed his status as one of the top emerging talents in American basketball. In the Las Vegas Summer League, Shepard further elevated his credentials. Averaging 20 points per game and maintaining a solid 50% shooting from the field, he demonstrated a quick adaptation to professional play. Although his three-point shooting fell short of expectations at 27.8%, what stood out was his ability to impact the game in various ways, proving to be much more than just a shooter. ESPN, recognizing these impressive performances, did not hesitate to place Shepard as the leading favorite for the Rookie of the Year award. The vote that put him at the top, with 62% of first-place votes, reflects the impact he has already made on the media and fans. For many, Shepard has already proven to be a brilliant pick for the Houston Rockets, and expectations are that he will continue to grow and stand out as the NBA season progresses. Mark Pope and his coaching staff at Kentucky must be proud. Their ability to identify and develop talents like Shepard reinforces the Wildcats program's reputation as one of the best in preparing players for the NBA. What is particularly interesting about Shepard is that, even as such a high draft pick, he still maintains the humility and work ethic that defined his time at Kentucky. Shepard's journey is just beginning, but if the early signs are any indication, Kentucky fans will have plenty of reasons to be proud in the years to come. Whether with the Rockets or elsewhere, Shepard seems destined to make a mark in basketball, continuing the tradition of excellence that is now thriving with Pope's help in identifying young talents like Shepard. Let's go forward. Jasper Johnson, one of the most sought-after recruits of the 2025 class, is about to make one of the most impactful choices of his young career. With the date finally set for September 5th, Johnson's decision will be unveiled at an event that is sure to draw a large crowd, especially given the excitement surrounding his potential choice of the Kentucky Wildcats. And if he comes with Shepard's recent encouragement, it will be a milestone. The announcement, set to be made at Woodford County High School in Versailles, Kentucky, just 30 minutes from the University of Kentucky campus, has already created huge anticipation among Wildcats fans. The fact that Johnson has chosen to reveal his decision so close to Lexington could be seen as a positive sign for Kentucky, which, along with Alabama, is considered one of the favorites in the running. Under the leadership of Mark Pope, Kentucky has built a solid reputation as a powerhouse in recruiting elite talent, and Johnson represents the perfect opportunity for Pope to continue this tradition. Johnson's position as the 10th best overall player in the class of 2025, according to 247 Sports Composite, places him in the spotlight, not just for Kentucky, but for all elite programs in the fray. The timing of the decision is also significant. Initially, there were speculations that Johnson would make his announcement in August, but his recent move to overtime elite caused a slight delay. Yet nothing to suggest that he wouldn't choose the Wildcats. Thus, we hope. Alabama, led by Nate Oates, is also strongly in the fight, and the program has proven to be a formidable competitor in the recruiting scene, particularly in recent years. However, it's undeniable that Kentucky has a historical appeal and a passionate fan base that could make a difference at moments like this. Still, I think Kentucky has the edge. The ceremony will be open to the public, and many Kentucky fans are expected to attend to support Johnson and, possibly, celebrate his decision to join the Wildcats. If Johnson chooses Kentucky, he will join a long list of elite players who have gone through the program and succeeded both at the college level and in the NBA. Perhaps Pope and Malachi Moreno might show up there to encourage the guy to come to the blue team. And Mark Pope, who has been working hard to place his reputation as one of the best recruiters in the country, will certainly be attentive to Johnson's decision. A commitment from Johnson would be a huge boost for Kentucky's 2025 class and could be the catalyst to attract even more high-level talents to Lexington. Big Blue Nation awaits eagerly. The stage is set for what promises to be a defining moment in the career of Jasper Johnson and potentially in the future of Kentucky basketball. Regardless of which program he chooses, Johnson's decision will be something special and different in the college basketball landscape. And the expectation is that he can choose this team. Let's wait and move forward. The words of Tubby Smith to Mark Pope, the current head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, could not have come at a more crucial time. With the recent departure of John Calipari to the Arkansas Razorbacks, Pope faces the unique challenge of leading one of the most iconic programs in college basketball. And it's not just any program. It's the Kentucky Wildcats, where the expectation is nothing less than national titles. And he's been doing very well. Tubby Smith, who knows all too well what it's like to be in Pope's shoes, offered advice that, while simple, carries tremendous weight. Stay the course. This phrase, spoken by someone who has felt the pressure of leading the Wildcats, is a reminder that the path ahead won't be easy, but it can be overcome with determination and resilience. Smith recalled his own experience watching Kentucky being eliminated from the SEC tournament in a painful loss to Texas A&M. He described the silence that engulfed the Bridgestone Arena as the final score of 97-87 was confirmed. That loss was not just a blow to the players and coaching staff, but also to the fans, whose constant expectation is nothing less than victory. The advisor is someone who, like Pope, also faced the tough task of replacing an icon. Tubby Smith succeeded Rick Pitino at Kentucky, and despite winning a national championship in 1998, he knows that the journey was anything but smooth. Winning titles is hard to do, Smith said, highlighting the enormous pressure that comes with the territory in Kentucky. Winning a title in his first year, instead of alleviating pressure, only increased it. Expectations became even greater, and subsequent success was never enough to satisfy the impossible standards that the Lexington environment imposes. Mark Pope now carries this mission. He is not just replacing a coach, but taking over a legacy that has deep roots in college basketball history. Pope's challenge is not just to bring victories, but also to restore the faith of a fan base accustomed to seeing their team on top. The pressure to win in Kentucky is unlike any other, and Tubby Smith understands this more than most. He knows that familiarity can breed contempt, and that, no matter how talented a coach is, patience is a rare virtue in such a competitive environment. Smith also reflected on Calipari's decision to leave Kentucky for Arkansas, calling it shocking and probably the #1 sports story in college sports last year. This move not only shook the college basketball world, but also left a void that now falls to Pope to fill. The task is monumental, and Smith understands the difficulties Pope will face, but he also believes that he is up to the challenge. Tubby Smith's experience serves as a beacon for Pope, showing that despite the difficulties, success is possible in Kentucky. Smith accumulated victories and titles during his time in Lexington, but he also learned that success is not always measured solely by trophies. Maintaining integrity, continuing to work hard, and as he advised, staying the course, are the true markers of a successful coach. And he said a bit more. Everyone knows that as a player, Pope experienced the intensity and pressure of representing the Wildcats, and now, as a coach, he must leverage that experience to lead the program. Tubby Smith, who also faced the daunting task of replacing a legend when he succeeded Rick Pitino, understands how challenging it can be to meet the lofty expectations in Kentucky. He sees in Pope not just a talented coach, but someone who deeply understands what it means to represent the Wildcats, both on and off the court. He gets it. He's been here as a player, won a championship, and proved to be an exceptional coach at BYU and Utah Valley. "I'm truly impressed," said Smith, noting that Kentucky could not have chosen a better person for the job. Smith, who witnessed the program's temporary decline during Calipari's final years, believes Pope has all the tools necessary to restore Kentucky's glory, but emphasizes that success won't come overnight. The situation Pope inherited is undoubtedly different from what Smith faced when he took over Kentucky in 1997. While Smith inherited a roster full of talent ready to compete at a high level, Pope faces a more challenging scenario, with a roster that still needs to be shaped. The transition is never easy. It just takes time to teach your system and style of play, Smith recalled, emphasizing that patience will be essential, both for Pope and for the fans. Smith also offers Pope advice that reflects his own experience in Kentucky. Don't succumb to the pressure to change what has already proven effective. What you did at BYU worked, so commit to it and plan for the long term. Longevity is the key to success. Pope's ability to maintain his vision and game philosophy, even in the face of the inevitable pressures to come, will be crucial for his success in Lexington. In addition to patience and persistence, Smith highlights another crucial aspect for Pope's success: total commitment to the program and to the Kentucky community. Being the coach of the Wildcats is a 24/7 job, as Smith remembers the words of Joe B. Hall, another Kentucky basketball legend. But Smith also warns about the need to maintain balance and not let the demands of the job change who Pope is as a person. You have to be fully engaged, you have to be committed, but you can't let it change who you are and your personality. Pope's story in Kentucky is still to be written, but with the support of experienced figures like Tubby Smith and his own determination, he has all the conditions to thrive. Smith, who has been to Pope's practices and left impressed, believes the future of the Wildcats is in good hands. For Pope, the ultimate goal is clear. He seeks to become the 6th coach to lift a national championship trophy in Kentucky. And if he can stay the course, as Smith wisely advises, that goal is not out of reach. As Smith said, if you come with the approach of serving the community, serving the university, serving your players and your constituents, everything else will take care of itself. Pope has already proven he's capable. Now, he has the opportunity to prove he's also the right man to lead the Wildcats back to greatness. Let's move forward. The rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville in college basketball, once one of the most intense and thrilling in the sport, has seen better days in recent years. Do you agree? With the Wildcats dominating the series and the Cardinals going through uncertain times, the excitement of this iconic matchup has waned. However, with recent changes in leadership for both teams, Mark Pope taking over at Kentucky and Pat Kelsey replacing Kenny Payne at Louisville, there is a new wave of optimism on both sides. The big question now is which of the two coaches will be able to return their respective teams to the pinnacle of college basketball over the next 5 years. According to a survey conducted by CBS Sports Portal with over 100 Division I men's coaches, Mark Pope is widely seen as the coach most likely to achieve lasting success. With 67% of the votes in his favor, Pope appears to have won the confidence of his peers, who believe the Kentucky program is better positioned to thrive under his leadership compared to Louisville, which is still seeking stability after the tumultuous era of Kenny Payne. And what puts Pope in this position is the structure of the Wildcats and the culture the program has. There are great expectations that Pope will bring better balance to the program. One coach commented that Pope won't face the same pressure to recruit top 1 or -2 classes every year, as long as he continues to win. This will allow him to build a roster with players who fit his vision, whether they are highly ranked stars or talents that develop over their college careers. Besides the work already mentioned of Pope at BYU and Utah Valley, where he was a different kind of strategist, these are attributes that can make a difference in a competitive environment like the SEC. We cannot deny Pope's efficiency. He was not chosen by chance and has won the heart of the B-Ben. On the other hand, Pat Kelsey is also widely respected for his ability to build competitive teams, but faces different challenges in Louisville. Although Kelsey has a track record of success, the task of rebuilding the Cardinals is seen as more arduous, especially considering the low expectations that currently surround the program. For many, simply taking Louisville to the NCAA tournament would be considered a success, something that in Kentucky would just be the starting point. Coaches who believe in Kelsey's success at Louisville point out that the ACC, despite housing powerhouses like Duke and North Carolina, has been a less challenging conference compared to the SEC in recent years. This may allow Kelsey, with the available resources and NIL support, to quickly build a program that becomes competitive again. However, even with these advantages, the comparison between expectations at Kentucky and Louisville continues to be a dividing line. In Kentucky, expectations are extremely high. Pope not only needs to win, he needs to consistently win at a high level and take the Wildcats to a Final Four within the next 3 years, or the pressure for a change in leadership may start to grow. In contrast, Kelsey has a bit more leeway, but any success in Louisville will still be viewed favorably, given the current state of the program. As time goes on, the rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville may finally regain the intensity and prestige of the past, with Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey at the helm. The battle for dominance in Kentucky college basketball promises to be fascinating, and we are here rooting for Pope. Let's talk about Blue football. The football program continues to expand its ambitions in recruiting for the class of 2025, and the recent offer to athlete Chaz Coleman from Warren G. Harding, Ohio, is further proof that the Wildcats are not satisfied and want to improve. With a recruiting class already ranked among the top 25 in the country, the addition of Coleman, who has been showing growing potential, could be a strategic move that could further elevate Kentucky's profile in the college football scene. Chaz Coleman is a versatile athlete who, until recently, was off the radar of major college football programs. However, after an impressive performance in Harding's season opener against McKinley, where he excelled in multiple positions including quarterback, linebacker, and even punter, interest in his talent began to grow. His ability to contribute in various areas of the game makes him a valuable asset for any program, and Kentucky was quick to recognize this. In addition to Kentucky, Ole Miss has also expressed interest in Coleman, offering him a position as a tight end, which shows the player's flexibility in adapting to different roles on the field. This ability is one of the factors that make Coleman such an attractive addition to any team, especially in a competitive conference like the SEC. Kentucky's interest in Coleman reflects the proactive approach that the program, under the leadership of Coach Mark Stoops, has been adopting in recruiting. The ability to identify and cultivate talents that may have been underestimated by other programs is one of the reasons why the Wildcats have consistently exceeded expectations in recent years. Coleman, who has also received offers from smaller schools such as Akron, Youngstown State, and Hampton, and is a talented basketball player with an offer from Ashland University, is now on the radar of a prestigious school like Kentucky, which could further boost his career. Coleman's numbers in the tight 26-19 loss against McKinley clearly show his impact on the game. As a quarterback, he completed 6 of 9 passes for 92 yards and a touchdown, in addition to running for 62 yards and scoring another touchdown on 17 carries. On defense, his presence was equally notable with 9 tackles, 7 solo, for loss of yards, 1 sack, and 3 forced fumbles, in addition to a deflected pass. These numbers, combined with his ability to punt for an average of 35 yards, make Coleman an impact player who can change the course of a game. It is important to note that, although not ranked by the main recruiting services, Coleman is beginning to attract the attention of Power 4 schools, and Kentucky will not be the last to make an offer. His ability to excel in multiple positions, combined with his work ethic and performance on the field, suggests that Coleman is on the verge of a meteoric rise. The offer from Kentucky may just be the beginning of a series of opportunities for this talented young athlete. Schools recognize Coleman's potential. It will be interesting to see how the recruiting process unfolds and whether Kentucky will secure another key piece for the future of its football program. What do you think? Will he come? Comment with your opinion on the news.